Hello everybody, it's the Hyper Hedgehog, and before we get into the meat of this video, I need to do a quick update. This will be my final video for about 2 weeks, because I'm going to Disney World! I might do some videos about my trip after the fact, but don't expect any new videos for a while. Alright, on to the video. It has been a long time since I've made a commentary video about video games, which is surprising since that is one of my favorite things. Okay, it's been a long time since I've made an original video game-based commentary. But today I found one that's actually based off my favorite video game series, Sonic the Hedgehog. I know it's shocking, I'm named the Hyper Hedgehog. You wouldn't think my favorite series was Sonic. Anyway, the video in question is titled Why 06 is Worse Than Sonic Forces, Why Ambition Doesn't Matter, by Shadicstick. I have to say, I absolutely hated this video. From the title alone, I knew I wouldn't like it because I love Sonic 06 with a burning passion, and Sonic Forces is my least favorite video game of all time. But, even ignoring that fact, it was filled with many problems, and explains a big problem with the larger gaming community in general that I felt needed to be addressed. So anyway, I figured why not share my side of the story from the person who actually thinks Forces is worse than 06. Alright. Roll the video.
What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shadicstick dropping some hot farraga on this mic. Today we're going to be talking about a little topic known as Sonic Forces versus Sonic 06. Which game is better? And I don't know why this discussion really comes up because the choice is obvious. It's Sonic Forces. But there are many people in the Sonic community who think that because a game is merely ambitious that it makes it good. Or at least better than other games. Because one game is ambitious or more ambitious than another at the least, that inherently raises its quality to be better than something that isn't super ambitious.
Congratulations! You completely missed the point of what these people were saying. They're not saying that being ambitious automatically makes a game good or better than another. They're saying that Sonic has lost all its ambition and it needs to get it back. That is the point. I could pretty much end this whole video here, but that's not how commentaries work. Darn, why do you have to torture me?
Because at the end of the day, what matters is execution. Is the game good or not? Because if we lay it out on the table, most people look at Sonic Forces and says that it's a mediocre game.
1. While execution is one of the most important parts of a video game, admittedly, that doesn't make Sonic Forces any not complete garbage, because even in execution, it's still terrible. And number 2, most people think Sonic Forces is mediocre. Have you been on the internet recently? And also, what's the point of making this video in the first place if it's just mediocre? Okay, here is the part of the video where he just repeats the same 06 bad arguments that we've heard a million times in a row. Which, I'm not gonna make you sit through that, I'm very merciful, and yes, it's just beating a dead horse. However, I will go in every now and then with some points I disagree with.
The game was littered with loading screens throughout the stages. I'm not talking about a 1 or 2 second loading screen. I mean, these screens take several minutes, especially if you're on the PlayStation 3 version.
Yes, I am. Wrong.
This is one of the biggest over-exaggerations of anything 06 related. No, the loading screens do not take several minutes. You want to know how long the loading screens actually take? They actually take at the very most 30 seconds. I know that's long for loading screen standards, and there are too many of them, but it still isn't that much. It's not several minutes. If you're patient enough, you can get through them.
Horrible controls, and when I say horrible controls, I'm not talking about like Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces takes the control away from the player. Sonic 06 just does not function.
I'm sorry, but horrible controls? While the controls might not be as good as something like the adventure games, Generations, or even Sonic Heroes, they still work and are functional, unlike you, who deny that and say they don't work because, 06 bad, laugh with me. Oh, and I'd argue Forces controls way worse, but still, it's good compared to the worst controlling Sonic game ever, Sonic 4 Episode 1.
Inherently horrible level design. I'm not talking about, again, like Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces, its level design is uninspired. It has pretty basic level design. You jump up some platforms occasionally, you go forward, you boost, you do some homing attacks. It's probably the most uninspired level design in 3D Sonic games. But when you compare it to Sonic 06, which in many levels has probably some of the worst level designs. First of all, I want to take, an example like Kingdom Valley. Kingdom Valley has no direction at all. There are some cases where it's obvious where you need to go, but they'll throw really big platforms at you that they hope that you can get over. And on top of those platforms being, massive and having massive gaps between them, enemies can destroy those platforms so they fall, and they create lower levels that really just kind of loop you in a circle.
Alright, here we go. Oh boy, do I have a lot to say about this. In the example you brought up, Kingdom Valley, I don't know what to say other than I can't relate. I didn't have a guide when I was playing Kingdom Valley for the first time, and I still got through it without getting lost. I don't know, I just can't relate to it. You're making it out like it's like the Water Temple, and it's not. It's also hilariously ironic considering Kingdom Valley is my favorite level in the game because of how big it is. But another thing I would like to point out, the level design is not bad at all. If you don't believe me, then play P06, a fan project that fixes the controls and many of the issues 06 had. You will clearly see the level design in 06 is actually good. If the controls were a little bit better, then a lot more people would enjoy it more. Also, thank you for explaining why Sonic Forces level design is bad to everybody, so I don't have to. Sonic Forces level design feels like a baby game. It always feels like it feels sorry for you. It's like, oh, you little baby boobop. Yeah, you don't need to play video games. You just push this button and it'll get through it. A much better way to do this is like what they did in Colors. That game has amazing level design, for the most part. Compare that to 06, which has good level design that actually feel like a video game. It doesn't feel sorry for you. It doesn't feel like it's there for the most basic players. It actually wants you to be challenged, but it is fair.
Look at things like story. As bad as Sonic Forces story is, it's just a result of, tell, don't show. They'll tell us a bunch of stuff that happens, but they won't show it. Or the characters will talk about it, but not show us what's actually happening or what has happened. Whereas Sonic 06 is probably one of the worst ways to tell a story. What?
Once again, thank you for explaining why the story in Sonic Forces is garbage, so I don't have to. But as for why it's worse than Sonic 06, Sonic 06 actually has a good story. The bad parts are in the Sonic campaign, mainly because of Elise. Man, I hate her. But if you look at Shadow and Silver stories, then you will see a really great story. While with Sonic Forces, no matter who I'm playing as, the story is just so boring, it's so safe, nothing happens, and just... So yes, Forces is a worse story. While Sonic 06 might have a couple plot holes, it still can be enjoyed. A perfect analogy is this. Would you rather watch Cars 2 or Toy Story 4? Personally, I would pick Cars 2 any day over Toy Story 4.
And what is essentially a platformer in a series that really wasn't driven by its story.
You serious?
It is almost comical how wrong this is. While Sonic might not be as story-driven as, say, an RPG, it still is very focused on story, and story is one of the most important aspects to a Sonic game. To act like nobody plays the Sonic games for a story is beyond idiotic. Why do you think there's so many character analysis of Sonic characters? Why do you think people talk about the stories in reviews? Why do you think there's videos about the stories of these games? It's because people care, and story is an important part of Sonic. Alright, I'm ending the video here because he just repeats himself throughout the rest of the video, and I'd just be responding to the same points. But I want to end with this. Like what he says about ambition, I'm gonna say something similar to the opposite effect. Just because a game doesn't have any major bugs or glitches or any frustrating level design, that doesn't mean it's a good game or even mediocre. It just means it works. Just because a game works doesn't mean it's good. I don't enjoy playing Sonic Forces. I hate everything it stands for. I don't like that Sega lied to its fans about stuff that was in the game in its marketing. I don't like that they thought so low of people and fans thinking that they'll love this generic, terrible video game. I don't enjoy this game! And that is the most important thing in a video game. It's not the quality or ambition, it's if it's fun. Sonic 06 might not be a polished game, but it certainly is a fun one to me. I revisit the game a lot, and it is one of my favorite Sonic games despite all of its problems. But Sonic Forces is not fun. There are games I absolutely despise, like Mario Party 10 or Sonic 4 Episode 1. Sonic Forces is my least favorite game of all time. But you know what made Sonic Forces in the current state of the series? It's people constantly bashing 06 and refusing to let it die. Seriously, it's almost 10 years since this game released, and people still treat it like it's the only Sonic game. We need to move on from all of this. And it's because of people's refusal to move on that Sega has become extremely fearful. And that is what these people mean when they say Sega needs to be ambitious, and at least 06 tried. They're not saying it's not a broken game, or even a bad one. They are saying that it is better and represents Sonic more than Forces. And that is the most important thing that I hope Sega learns. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.